Hello, hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about data actions. Okay. So data actions is nothing but planning things we are automating through some predefined data actions using planning script. Okay. Very simple. In SAP Analytics Cloud, the front-end data, whatever actual data, it will be submitted through planning script, and this is where we will write the code. And internally in the backend, the conversion platform it is containing the column engine will convert this planning script internally into the SQL procedures, and it will write the data to the or else read the data to and from to this analytic data queue. And finally, whatever the modified data, again, it will be submitted to the front-end SAC. Okay. That's what the architecture of this planning script. Okay. Planning script means like any other language, all these elements we can incorporate like coding, variables, constant operators, and library functions, if statement and for loop, these kind of things so we can incorporate. The most important functions are result lookup. Result lookup is nothing but the data which is visible through table already from the model. Okay. And if you want to write the data into the table, then use the data function. If you want to override the existing value, use the data. And if you want to append the values to the existing value, then use the data append. This is write back functions. This is the reading the read functions. Okay. So normally the syntax would be something like this. So we are reading the data and do something and modify the existing data or else append the existing data. The features of this code will contain mainly these steps, structures of the code. Normally configurations, global scope, which defines filtering of the data. And if any local variables, you can declare the variables. And you can write the sequence of statements. Okay, that's it. So let's log into the system. Let's solve the same thing through an example. Let's create a story. Right. Let's create a story. First add the model. This is the model. And in the previous sessions, we discussed about some family budget model, simple one. At the time, we did it manually, either at the table level calculations or planner. But now we are trying to do the automated actions through planning script. That is the simple. So let's add a table. I think I did it here. No. Remove this one. So this one, that's it. Right. So add all those things. In rows, I have the budget account. And here I would like to show the unbooked data as well. Let's set up this table. And in the columns in measures also show the unbooked data. And in the filter section in budget account, select all members. Okay, right. And in the column section, I would like to add the family dimension. Okay, right. And we know this example very well. Right. And this is the actual version. And let's do some more thing. In this family, in the hierarchy, I would like to see only leaves. Okay. Right. So this is the basic structure of this table. And I think we did some kind of a planning last time. Let's do the reverting of the data. Okay, this is the original actual data. Let's save this one. Let's stay and family budget using data actions. Okay. Now, what is our initial activities? I want to distribute to this. Let's wait. I have this pen. So, what is our plan? Okay. What is our initial thing? So, father income I want to distribute. Okay. To the savings as well as account expenses. And his savings would be out of his income, unassigned value of this 30% and 70% of expenses. Okay. And from mother income, that is this is the first one. Okay. And the second one is I want to transfer 80% of mother's income for saving and 20% for expenses. Okay, right. So let's perform this, focus on this first step. Okay, right. So here, before going to there, I don't want to modify the actual data. Okay, I want to modify I want to create another version. Okay, usually the practice would be, what are the changes you want to do it in some kind of uh, private version, and convert that one into the public dimension and then publish. And here in planning stories, you have the version management. You can create your own versions like private versions, or else you can create your public blank versions, or else you can copy this public version. Let's copy this public version. Okay, as a plan one. Okay, and I call this one as a planning. I am copying all the data. Okay, right. So this one I would like to publish. Okay, when I publish this one, when I publish this one, I call it as a plan. That means this private dimension becomes like a public. Okay, right. Now here it is showing both actual and plan. Okay, and go to the model. Means filter. I want to see only plan version only. So this version change the filter. I want to change, look at the plan one. See, right. This is the plan version. And I want to do what are the changes I want to do it in this plan version. Let's save this store. Right. Now then do the our coding. Open in a new version, new window. And here there is a button called data actions. Okay. You can create your data actions. Data action, this is for data action for father income distribution. Okay. So father, income, history, tuition. Okay. And you need to apply on which model. Okay. I want to apply on this model. This is the quick search, or else you can go to this model. When select model, you can browse the model like this. Okay. Right. So save this one inside your folder. Right. So whenever you are in this one, so basically a data action, you can combine multiple data actions. Okay. A data action will contain steps. Okay. And step 1, step 2, like this, a number of steps you can write inside a data action. And you can combine multiple data actions. Another data action. Okay, like this. So you can combine multiple data action. Inside the data action, you will have multiple steps. These are the steps we will see. Okay, almost to 5 steps. You can combine multiple steps together. We'll see one by one. Okay. So this step is for copy step. You can copy one data step to another data. You can read another model. And or else if you want to do some allocation, you can do that allocation step here. And you can do some embedded data actions. Means another day, means I told you, right? Data actions can be combined like a chain. That also you can do. And this is where you can write advanced formula step. And in my example, most of the time, I prefer to do this advanced formula step. Because this is where you have full control of the data and you can do many things. Okay. So, for example, you can write steps like this. See, like this. Anything you can write. But for now, this example, let's do it through advanced formula step. Right. And this formula step, let's give them a advanced father income distribution. Okay, right. And don't go for this graphical, better to go for this script. And delete everything. You don't need to do anything. First, here one point we need to discuss. This model is nothing but data. This is a cube kind of data where a multi-dimensional thing come into the picture. See what is a normal cube? It will have the data in multiple dimensions. Okay. So multiple dimensions it will have. You got it? But if you want to know in between any particular cell, you need to point that cell by giving filtering on each dimension wise what could be the exact value. Okay. For example, if I want to point out I want to distribute this father income. Okay. How I need to point out? First thing is in the family dimension, I need to filter for father. If I filter for father, what it will come? It will come all the columns of that one. Right? All the columns of that one. But I want not all the columns. I want only income. Then in that case, what is the second filter I need to give? Account where income is equal to some account number. Where income. Okay. Only for income. Okay. Like this. And if it is having multiple versions, you need to control only for this plan version. Okay. And if you have a measures also, in this model, I have only single measure. No need to worry. But if you have multiple measure, you need to give them exactly what measure. And also it is having date dimension. Currently, we are seeing the data for 2000 or something like 2023 Jan or something. If you don't give the date dimension, it will consider the income of father. For example, if you give filtering on income and father, if you didn't give the other dimension, then it will consider all months income. So that is why when you want to specifically any cell value, that is nothing but to exact scalar value. Scalar values are singular values, right? If you want a single value from that cube, you need to mention all the dimensions filtered values. Okay, right. That is what we need to keep in mind. Okay. So for that one, let's declare some global. Let's declare some global data selections. Okay. So for that one, global scope, we call it as a global scope. Member set where date equals to, I want to filter. Control space will give you the search help. And also parameters, usually the versions, it will be dynamic. Dynamic means every time it will ask for the prompt. Otherwise, for now, for simplicity, I'm making it as a fixed so that it will apply only for version. It will only apply for version plan. Okay. Right. Now defining the global scope. What is the first thing you need to do? And also add this validate section. When you are writing any syntax errors, it will show. Okay. So global scope I'm defining. Okay. And end of global scope. This is not code, comment lines. Okay. Right. Actual code is, for example, member set. I'm writing filtering the data for only January month. Right. And also, I want to define version is fine. And what is the income I want to? What is the account? I want to consideration. So I want to take the account of income. Okay. Account dimension, I filtered it for income. Let's keep it like this. And also, I want to update data. Okay. Of which account? What is the account? This is savings account, right? I want to update savings account. So come back and here equals to savings. If I didn't mention the family one, and here in global scope, we can keep member set family dimension, keep it for father. That is nothing but dad. But I want to update it for what? Unassigned value. So savings of family. So how it was defined? Savings of family dimension unassigned. Okay, right. This will be updated. You may get a doubt. Here family is, I have selected hash, and here family is global as dad. So always local selections on the same dimension. If you write local selections will give the higher priority. It will override. Okay, right. Now I want to update it to this value. I want to update this value from the income of the father. Okay, so result to look up this. This is a income of a father. Okay, right. And I did not mention anything here. That means the global scope automatically applied here. So what is this result lookup? If I write it as empty brackets, that indicates in family number dad, and this is for income of 2023 January. And this income, okay, from this income, I want to out of his income, 30% will go to this savings, right? So into 3 by 100. Okay, that's it. Let's validate. No errors. Okay. So this is how the data gets updated. Now let's save this one. Right. Now you can add one button. Insert see planning trigger. Okay, here data action trigger. You can give the description as a father income distribution. Okay. And what is the data action? This one. Okay, that's it. This one, I want to move it to here. Okay, right. Now, if I press this button, automatically this script gets executed and it updates the saving of unassigned family dimension. That is nothing but the value should be coming here. 30% of 90,000 should come here. See, that is nothing but 2,700. What could be the remaining 70% that should come here for expenses? If you see, I want it to for unassigned savings. Similar thing, observe that one. And here instead of savings, I want to allocate it for expenses. Surprisingly, expenses cannot be selected. See, expenses cannot be selected. Only you can assign the values to the child nodes because expenses is a parent node. So you cannot assign the values directly to the parent. Only you can assign to the values to these child nodes. See, you can select all these child nodes. Okay, if you want, you can do it like that. Otherwise, you can do a different kind of a simple logic. Let's park this one inside. And here, right, let's create a variable. So only simple logic I am doing is I am counting number of child nodes, and for all the child nodes I am distributing equally so that the default properties of parent bottom to up planning is the child values are all gets aggregated. We know, right, that one. For example, I cannot assign to this parent value, but I can assign the values to the child nodes. Okay. For example, I got the 70% of his income is something like 1,000. I cannot assign this 1,000 to here, but I can make it possible something like 333 something divided by number of childs. So if I divide it and distribute it equally to the child nodes, automatically child node values gets aggregated in the planning. So here it will show 1000. Got it? So I would like to distribute the value equal. But how much I want to do, how I can know if it is 3, I can distribute it to equal values 3. So for that one, I am planning to calculate how many child nodes for this parent node. Okay. So for this one, there is a budget account. Keep it to, let's keep it to this global scope on this account. Base members of on my budget account. See, now it is selectable, okay, the parent. So the budget account got filtered by all the base numbers of 300. Okay. So I think here we need to definitely give the dimension on, because in the global scope I changed it, but here I need to use the income section. So here use the one side equals to, I want his income. Okay. And so this budget account is containing now all the members of 300. I want to declare a variable. Variable declaration is something like this. Integer, okay, at the rate count, okay, end of variable declaration, okay, right. Now write some for loop, okay, for each, this is budget account, okay. See, automatically when I write for each, automatically end for is coming. Inside this one, no, I am incrementing, okay, count equals to count plus 1. That means it will count the number of child nodes and it stores this count. Okay. So in the result lookup, and his income, out of his income 70%. So whatever the value we got it, and here no need to give this budget, means again accounting, because we already defined it for child nodes. Okay, for all the child nodes of unassigned column family number, and the income of father 70%, what are the value, and that should be 70% of that one should be divided by our count. That's valid. No errors. Okay, this count, if it is having 5 nodes, the 70% of value will be divided by 5, and what that equal amount gets updated to all the unassigned family dimension column with the budget account with the child numbers of this. Okay, right. Now save this one. Let's modify. Means I am executing it again. See, 70% of this one is like this. If you go to the child nodes, see, it updated everywhere the same amount. See, like this, 572. Okay. Now, this is how the father income gets updated. Hmm? How to update mother income? So in that case, go to the file. See, even data actions also get stored as a file. So, okay. And this one I would like to copy as a mother income distribution. Mother income distribution. And advanced formula for mother income. Right. You don't need to do it this one. Change the parameter. It is fixed plan. And advanced formula. Advanced formula for mother income. And here family number. Selected it as a mom. Everything is same. Remaining everything is same. Only allocations are different. So 30% of not 30%. Her savings should be 80% of her income, and remaining 20% should be your expenses allocated. Save this one. Let's add this button also. Add planning trigger actions and mother income. Okay. Mother income. Okay. Done. Let's take this one and keep it here. So this is the father income distribution. Now I want to distribute the mother income. Okay. Now press this button. It is updated like this from the mother income like this. But a small trouble is there because it is supposed to append to the existing distribution of the father income values. So how we need to do that one? Previous values is not overwriting. We need to append the values. So use append here under data dot append as discussed in the theory. Save this one. Okay. Now do the father income distribution. Okay. Now mother income distribution. Now this time the values gets updated. Okay. Right. Now one more thing is next one is bank balance. The logic for this calculation is nothing but very simple. This savings amount, I want to temporarily place it in the bank balance column, bank balance account. And from here, I want to distribute to this all bank accounts of different family members, using on what proportions on age proportions. Okay, age proportions. Okay, so age proportions means here how I want to add this 4,000 plus his age. Okay, 45. So from this 7,500, sorry, 7,900, from this 7,900, the calculation for the father income would be from his age, okay, divided by total age of all family members. That is something like 119. Okay, 119. Okay. How to distribute for mother? It is nothing but instead of 40, it will be 45, and it will be her age out of the total age. That is the calculation. So for that one, first we need to calculate. For that one, I need to calculate one more data action. Create a new data action. Bank data action of a bank. On this model. Okay, right. And change the parameter. Right. Now come back here and do advanced formula for bank. Okay, right. Delete this one. So what is the scope here? Okay, global scope. And also global scope. Here members to date date and here what is our aim? First thing is age. Okay, select the account member set dimension equals to age. Okay, right. Or else you can and also family members. Okay, here we need to consider family members is of only 4 numbers. Select the child nodes. Okay. Now I want to do the age calculation. So data and which data I need to update? Unassigned value of the family number equals to unassigned family number of B account to age. Already it is in global scope, no need to mention. And it should be updated by result lookup. Okay. So result lookup of family, all members, these 4 numbers of age account value, this one. Okay, if I write like this, let's see, validate. Right. So here, what is the observation here? Here this indicates age values of all 4 family members. Okay. And here I did not mention anything. That means all 4 values. And here what it indicates? It is the age account of only unassigned family number. Okay. Unassigned cell. So this is a single cell and this is a multiple cells value. If you write assignment operator like this, automatically it will aggregated value will be updated here. Aggregated value will be updated of all cells. So here, whatever the cells values are there, everything will be aggregated and stored it in a single value. If your left side operator is a single cell and the right side operator is a multiple cells, it will update the value into the single cell as a sum of each cell. Okay, right. So just to save for this for now, we will do it one by one, step by step. And also next step is you can give comment lines. Like is total is calculations. Total is calculation. Okay, right. Next thing is bank amount assignment. That means unassigned saving values. This one I want to submit to this here. Okay, bank balance. So for that one, data of a family number of unassigned. And what is the account? If I don't mention the budget account, then it will kind of things like age. But let's explicitly mention I want to update it for whom? For the unassigned bank balance. Okay, unassigned bank balance, unassigned column of family number, bank balance, account. Okay, that's what I have written here. Equals to result lookup. Okay, and what the thing I can write same selection assigned value of not the bank balance. Here I need to change it little bit. Savings. Okay. So what is this statement is indicating? This indicates assignment of unassigned bank balance. Right. That is one thing. Okay. Right. Save this one. Right. Let's see these two things are updating perfectly fine or not. Okay. Let's add one more data action. Means planning trigger. We haven't written the logic for bank balance. We'll write it. Right. Now execute this one. Our assumption should show value of the total of this one, and this value should be updated to here. Okay. Right. Now inside this one, I want to assign the values. Update bank balance. Balance updation. Okay. Right. How you will write? I want to update the data of all family numbers. Okay. All family numbers. Account is what? Bank balance. Budget account equals to bank balance. Okay. I want to append to the existing value. Okay. Append to the existing value. And This should be updated by result lookup. What is the formula? The existing bank balance. Okay. The existing unassigned bank balance. That means this value. Unassigned bank balance multiplied by what is the total is this, right? This one. So nothing but this is your total age. Sorry, not total age. Age of the members, right? So result lookup. Age of individual number divided by total age. That is nothing but result lookup of give the same selection here. Right. Validate. Right. Now I am updating the bank balance of all the family numbers because I didn't mention the family dimension from the unassigned bank balance of a particular cell into result lookup without mentioning anything means all cells. Means all cells of what? All cells of what is the account? All cells of bank balances. Okay. Otherwise, if I don't mention, the account is by default global scope is A's. Okay. Sorry. A's only. I need to mention here. A's only. Okay. Divided by total is. Okay. Total is nothing but this one. Okay. Right. Save this one. Right. Now write down something. Okay. 4,000. Okay. So I have written as a append command. See, append command. So my 4,000 value should be updated 4,000 plus what is the new bank balance share of from the bank balance of father 7,900 into 45 by 119. Okay. So let's write some, do this some calculation. So yeah, do the same thing. Right. So 4,000. So yeah, 4,000 plus 7,900. Okay. 45 divided by 119. Okay. There's a what? Let's calculate this one. Simple calculation. 7,900. 7,900 multiplied by 45. 45 divided by 119. Okay. Into 7,900. Okay. Maybe I am typing it multiple times. $45 divided by 119. Okay. Into 7,900. Okay. See 2987. Okay. Plus 4,000. 6987 we should expect here. Okay. Right. Let's execute this one. See 6987 exactly it is coming. It is updating the existing values. Okay. That is what the formula we have. This is how the formulas will get updated. Here key things we need to observe here in this code is summation of single cells, multiple cells will automatically come to the single cell without using of summation function. And here multiple cells updations, considering multiple cells updations. Here I have considered the existing total unassigned bank balance multiplied by all individual cells of A's divided by the total A's. Okay, right. That's it. So this is how you can prepare multiple planning triggers. Okay, right. See you in next session with some more interesting topic. Okay, thank you.